今日もお付き合いいただきありがとうございます。今日の主なニュースを英語でお送りします。
A suspect in the Roppongi murder case from 8 years ago has been arrested. A 47-year-old man who lived with the 29-year-old victim fled to Malaysia after the incident in Tokyo. He was internationally wanted and was transferred from Malaysia on the 25th. The suspect denies the charges.
Today, April 25th, marks 21 years since the JR Fukuchiyama line derailment. The accident killed 107 people. A memorial ceremony was held at the site in Amagasaki, Hyogo. Bereaved families and executives from JR West offered prayers for the victims. This solemn occasion remembers those lost in the 2005 tragedy.
A forest fire in Otsuchi Town, Iwate Prefecture, continues to spread on its fourth day, April 25th. The fire is now threatening homes in several areas, according to local officials. Over 1,000 people are engaged in intense firefighting efforts to control the blaze and protect residents' properties.
Iran's foreign minister arrived in Pakistan on April 24th to discuss resuming peace talks with the U.S. U.S. envoys are also visiting Islamabad on April 25th for discussions. However, it's unclear if direct meetings between U.S. and Iranian officials will occur. Iran states it will convey concerns through Pakistan as diplomatic efforts continue.
Ukraine dismissed the commander of the 14th Separate Mechanized Brigade on April 24th. This decision came after photos were released showing frontline soldiers who were left for months without enough food and water becoming emaciated. Ukrainian citizens are reportedly outraged by the incident. The government is addressing the severe neglect of its troops.
Japan's Olympic and Paralympic athletes held an appreciation parade on April 25th. Figure skating pair Riku Miura and Ryuichi Kihara, who won Japan's first gold in pairs, performed a spectacular lift. Around 50,000 spectators cheered as 119 athletes paraded. This event marked the first Winter Games delegation parade.
Experts suggest a slow slip event may be continuing off the Sanriku coast. A major earthquake occurred there on April 20th. Since last November, frequent small tremors have been observed. Analysis shows the location of these tremors has gradually shifted since the earthquake, indicating ongoing movement along the plate boundary.
Before the NPT Review Conference, UN Under-Secretary General Nakamitsu urged nations to be flexible in reaching agreements. As the head of the UN Disarmament Department, she warned that achievements in nuclear disarmament are being lost, and we are witnessing the beginning of a reversal. Her call aims to halt this concerning trend.
The US and EU signed an agreement on April 24th to secure critical mineral supplies. They also launched an action plan to strengthen supply chains, aiming to reduce China's market dominance. Future trade measures like minimum pricing will be considered. U.S. Secretary Rubio stressed the need to diversify supply chains, citing risks from resource overconcentration.
U.S. stocks, including the S&P 500 and NASDAQ, hit record highs on April 24th. Hopes for U.S.-Iran talks to end conflict and a surge in semiconductor shares fueled the rally. Intel soared over 23% after exceeding revenue forecasts. Fading concerns about AI investments also contributed to the market's strong performance.
次は社会のニュースです。
Today marks 21 years since the JR Fukuchiyama line derailment accident. On April 25, 2005, 170 people died and 562 were injured. A memorial service was held at the accident site in尼崎. Hyogo victims' families and JR West executives offered prayers for those who lost their lives.
A 47-year-old man was arrested on April 25th, transferred from Malaysia. He is suspected in the 2018 murder of a 29-year-old woman in a Roppongi, Tokyo apartment. The suspect, who lived with the victim, fled to Malaysia and was internationally wanted. He denies the charges.
A forest fire in Otsuchi Town, Iwate Prefecture, continues to spread on its fourth day, April 25th. The town reports the blaze is now approaching homes in multiple districts. Over 1,000 people are engaged in intense firefighting efforts, working hard to control the fire and protect residential areas.
In Chiba, a police sergeant from the traffic division is suspected of drunk driving. The officer was involved in a property damage accident while riding a motorcycle on April 25, 2026. Authorities are currently investigating the incident to determine if the sergeant was indeed driving under the influence.
A 30-year-old employee at旭山Zoo admitted abandoning his wife's body in the zoo's incinerator during police questioning. It was revealed on April 25th that he went to work as usual on April 23rd, the day questioning began. Police searched the incinerator on April 24th, but the body remains unfound. Investigations are ongoing.
Japan's Immigration Services Agency tightened requirements for the business manager visa last October. Previously, 5 million yen capital or 2 full-time employees was sufficient. Now, applicants must meet all new criteria: 30 million yen capital, at least 1 full-time employee, a certain Japanese language level, and proven management experience or education.
Earthquake activity continues off the Sanriku coast after a magnitude 7 quake on April 20th. A Hokkaido Sanriku offshore post-earthquake warning is now active, indicating a higher risk of a mega-earthquake along the Tsushima and Japan trenches. Commercial facilities and festivals are taking precautions, and people are urged to check their daily preparedness.
A religious corporation donated 30 million yen in 2024 to a Liberal Democratic Party branch led by Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi. A newspaper tried to verify the donation, but no supporting documents were disclosed. This reveals a flaw in the political funds control law, hindering public oversight and creating a black box for such contributions.
Juvenile detention centers are now making it easier for residents to choose hairstyles other than buzz cuts, the Ministry of Justice confirmed on April 25th. Previously, professional styling was rare, making buzz cuts common. Starting this fiscal year, barber visits will increase. This aims to reduce discomfort and better promote rehabilitation among residents.
Former Foreign Minister Takeshi Iwaya of the Liberal Democratic Party opposes introducing a national emblem damage crime to punish acts of damaging the Japanese flag. In an interview, he expressed concerns that such a law could punish people's thoughts and beliefs and might be legislation primarily for political appeal.
次はビジネス関連のニュースです。
TEPCO Holdings is considering Keisuke Yoku, 74, president of JIC, as its next chairman. He would be the first finance professional in this role. TEPCO needs to rebuild its business due to rising Fukushima Daiichi accident costs. Yoku is expected to implement bold reforms, improving the company's value.
The domestic production of the popular Mazda 2 car is scheduled to cease in August. This decision marks a change for the well-known model in its home market. The Mazda 2 has been a familiar vehicle for many drivers in Japan.
Discussions on reducing consumption tax for food items show mixed reactions. While some support it for low-income households, businesses and related groups are worried about the burden and financial impact. The ruling party is working to ease these concerns.
On April 24th, the dollar fell while the S&P and NASDAQ reached record highs and yields declined. The dollar's drop was due to the U.S. Justice Department ending its investigation into Fed Chair Powell and optimism about U.S.-Iran peace talks. U.S. envoys are visiting Pakistan for discussions.
On April 24th, oil futures were mixed, reflecting both optimism for U.S.-Iran peace talks and concerns over supply. Brent crude futures rose, while U.S. WTI futures declined. Reports of envoys traveling for peace discussions reduced earlier price gains. Both benchmarks still posted significant weekly increases.
Alphabet, Google's parent company, has invested $10 billion in AI firm Anthropic. A report suggests Alphabet may invest an additional $30 billion, potentially reaching $40 billion. This follows Amazon's recent announcement of up to a $25 billion investment in Anthropic, showing strong interest in the AI sector.
On April 24th, the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington ended its investigation into Federal Reserve Chair Powell. This probe had hindered the confirmation of Kevin Warsh nominated as the next Fed chair. The decision could now clear the way for Warsh's congressional approval.
On April 24th, METI Minister Akazawa met Rengo President Yoshino. Amid concerns about the stable supply of petroleum products, Minister Akazawa reiterated his commitment. He stated that the government would make all-out efforts to resolve distribution bottlenecks, ensuring a smooth flow of these essential goods.
The United States and the European Union have formulated an action plan concerning critical minerals. This initiative is reportedly aimed at China, with both powers preparing to implement trade measures to counter Beijing's influence in the vital minerals sector.
Foreign-owned ethnic restaurants in Japan face closures due to stricter visa requirements since last autumn. The 30 million yen capital barrier is a key issue. For example, a Hong Kong kanji shop in Tokyo, Sanmai-san Nerima, will close on May 20 with its owner expressing regret.
では、スポーツニュースをお伝えします。
White Sox player Munetaka Murakami hit his 11th home run of the season in a game against the Nationals. This home run ties him for the top spot in the American League home run rankings. It was his 6th home run in the last 10 games, showcasing his strong performance.
Approximately 110 Japanese Olympic and Paralympic athletes from the Milan Cortina Winter Games held a parade in Nihonbashi, Tokyo. Around 50,000 people gathered to cheer them on. Notable athletes included Rikuryu figure skating pair and speed skater Miho Takagi. Japan won a record 24 Olympic medals and 4 Paralympic medals.
Lot pitcher Atsuki Taneichi was forced to leave the game against SoftBank in the first inning due to a left leg injury. After covering first base on a foul ball, he collapsed and was stretchered off the field, causing a stir in the stadium. Akiyagi replaced him on the mound.
Dina's Shugo Maki has been removed from the active roster. He injured his right hamstring during a game against the Giants on the evening of April 24th. Maki was substituted out of the game at Yokohama Stadium after hurting himself while running to third base.
Para-athlete Yudai Shimazu set a new world record and won the men's 5,000-meter visually impaired class at an international competition in Morocco. The 26-year-old athlete had previously won 2 section awards in the Hakone Ekiden during his university years.
The Cubs extended their winning streak to 10 games with a comeback victory against the Dodgers. Trailing by 4 runs early, the Cubs' powerful offense rallied in the late innings, overcoming the Dodgers' relief pitchers. Seiya Suzuki went hitless, ending his home run streak, but contributed with excellent defense.
In the first overseas major of the women's golf season, 11 Japanese players advanced to the final round. The second round took place in Texas, USA on April 24th. Yuzuri Yoshida and Sora Kamiya are currently the top Japanese players, tied for 11th place at 4 under par.
Dodgers player Shohei Ohtani went hitless in 3 at-bats with 1 walk against the Cubs, extending his hitless streak to 3 games. Manager Dave Roberts expressed full confidence in Ohtani, stating he bets on him and will keep believing in him. Roberts confirmed there are no plans to change Ohtani's batting order.
Rui Hachimura of the Lakers delivered a strong performance in Game 3 of the NBA playoffs, first round against the Rockets. He scored 22 points, including 4 three-pointers and an alley-oop dunk. The Lakers secured an overtime victory, putting them 1 win away from advancing in the series.
Kaoru Takara, chairman of the Japan High School Baseball Federation, has resigned. He received a strict warning from the federation for reasons undisclosed due to privacy, but it conflicted with the Japan Student Baseball Charter. Vice Chairman Satoshi Kitamura will succeed him.
続いて、国際ニュースです。
Ukraine dismissed a military commander on April 24th. This followed public outrage over photos showing soldiers on the front lines for months, suffering from a lack of food and water. The dismissed commander belonged to the 14th Separate Mechanized Brigade. Ukrainian citizens are reportedly furious about the situation.
The U.S. Justice Department announced on April 24th that it is expanding federal execution methods. In addition to lethal injection, the options will now include firing squad, electric chair, and nitrogen hypoxia. This decision was made by the Trump administration, adding more ways to carry out federal death sentences.
On April 24th, U.S. Federal Prosecutor Pirro announced the end of a criminal investigation. The investigation concerned Federal Reserve Chairman Powell and renovation work at the Fed's headquarters in Washington, D.C. The prosecutor shared this update via a social media post, concluding the inquiry into the chairman.
The UK House of Lords will likely scrap a bill on April 24th that would grant euthanasia rights to terminally ill patients in England and Wales. Though passed by the House of Commons, strong concerns arose that patients might choose it to reduce family burdens. Over 1,200 amendments were proposed, and the debate time expired.
Ahead of the NPT Review Conference, UN Undersecretary General Nakamitsu, head of disarmament, warned that nuclear disarmament achievements are being lost. She observed a beginning of a reversal in global efforts. Nakamitsu urged countries to adopt flexible positions to reach agreements and halt this concerning trend.
The UN and other organizations reported that over 260 million people in 47 countries experienced severe food shortages last year. Conflict was identified as the primary cause. This year, the situation involving Iran is expected to have a broad impact on global agriculture and food markets, potentially worsening the crisis.
The Gaza Strip is preparing for its first elections in 20 years on April 25th, following 2 years of conflict. The outcome will be closely watched as it is expected to reflect public opinion concerning Hamas. Hamas is the Islamic organization that effectively governs the region and engaged in recent fighting with Israel.
Iranian Foreign Minister Arakchi arrived in Pakistan on April 24th for talks concerning peace with the U.S. White House spokesperson Leavitt said U.S. envoys would also visit on April 25th. However, Iran's foreign ministry stated no direct meeting with the U.S. delegation is planned, creating uncertainty for direct negotiations.
President Trump stated on April 24th that Iran may present proposals to meet U.S. demands during talks in Pakistan. He believes Iran wants to negotiate an agreement. White House spokesperson Leavitt confirmed U.S. envoys will visit Islamabad on April 25th for these discussions, as Iran's foreign minister has already arrived.
U.S. presidential spokesperson Leavitt, 28, announced on April 24th she is about to give birth and will go on maternity leave. She confirmed her second pregnancy last December. No direct replacement is expected. Senior administration officials will handle press duties. Leavitt assured that news from the White House would not stop.
続いて、文化・芸能ニュースをお伝えします。
AKB48 member Maho Omori, 26, announced her graduation from the group on April 25th. Her final performance will be on June 30th. Omori also stated her retirement from the entertainment industry after graduation, saying she did it without regrets. She shared the news with fans at a theater performance.
Artist Katsuyuki Shinohara, known as Geijutsuka no Kuma-san, passed away on April 17th at 84 from pneumonia. He was famous for his stage art and TV appearances. Per his wishes, no funeral will be held. A message he left on Instagram stated, "Finally, it's time to say goodbye. Thank you very much. I'm going on a journey. Bye."
Shogi Meijin Soda Fuji and challenger Tetsuro Itodani 9 Dan are in Aomori for the second game of the 84th Meijin match, held April 25th and 26th. Fuji aims for a fourth consecutive title, while Itodani seeks to tie the series. This is the first Meijin match in Aomori in 47 years. Fuji Meijin will make the first move.
Japan's Supreme Court has made its first ruling on copyright infringement for mass-produced practical items. The court determined that such infringement is recognized only in exceptional cases. This judgment arose from a dispute between a Norwegian company and a Japanese company regarding the copyright of a children's chair, setting a new precedent.
A Ministry of Justice panel confirmed that people's voices have legal rights, protecting them from unauthorized use, similar to faces and appearances. This right is based on constitutional personality rights. The panel confirmed voice rights are included in likeness and publicity rights. Guidelines on civil liability for infringement will be developed.
The National Stadium's operating company announced new measures after spectators caused disruptions during Mrs. Green Apple's concert on April 18th. These include stricter terms of use. Any nuisance behavior in the future will result in all involved being ejected from the venue. The stadium aims to prevent similar incidents.
Rock band T-Bolan announced the postponement of their Wakayama concert on April 24th, just minutes before showtime. Their Nara concert on April 25th is also canceled or postponed. This is due to vocalist Arashi Moritomo's poor health, making him unable to perform. Moritomo apologized on Instagram for the last-minute announcement.
Female rapper unit Halkali will resume music activities after a 13-year hiatus, performing at Summer Sonic 2026 on August 16th. Their 23-year-old song Otsukare Summer has become a massive revival hit on TikTok with over 6.5 billion total plays. This marks their first festival performance of original songs since December 2012.
World-renowned American conductor Michael Tilson Thomas passed away on April 22nd at 81 at his San Francisco home due to a malignant brain tumor. He served as music director of the San Francisco Symphony for 25 years, winning Grammy Awards. Thomas also served as artistic director for Sapporo's Pacific Music Festival from 1990 to 2000.
Exile. Celebrating its 25th anniversary, held its first Tokyo Dome concert in over 3 years. B's guitarist Tak Matsumoto made a surprise appearance, performing a collaboration. The group announced additional 25th anniversary Dome concerts for November in Saitama and December in Osaka. Special members will also perform at these upcoming events.
今日のニュースは以上です。最後までお付き合いいただき、ありがとうございました。おやすみなさい。